Okay, so today again we'll discuss what are the components we have. Can you tell me what are the components we have in the Citrix virtual app and desktops? The first component is here we have the controllers. So what controllers will do? So what the controllers are going to do?
Administer the Citrix.
Yeah, so mostly delivery controllers are the main component of the Citrix virtual apps and desktops, which is going to do the communication brokering, publishing of those applications, then load balancing, communication brokering, all these will be done by delivery controllers. Then which of the desktops or apps we want to deliver, on that we need to install virtual delivery agent. So we need to install VDA. We have two types of VDAs. What are those two types of VDAs we have? So what are the two types of VDAs? So we have VDA on like a single session OS or multi-session OS, or VDA on server, VDA on desktop. That means we want to give one server for multiple users. Then we need to choose VDA on the server. We want to deliver desktops for single user. Then VDA on desktop we need to choose. Okay, then what is the meaning of storefront? So storefront is the communication
Gateway.
brokering, yeah, between user and the controllers, between the Citrix and Citrix infrastructure, the end user connect through storefront. Okay, then on the end user side, what we required is Citrix Workspace app is required. Then we have Citrix Director is there. Director is used for the most of the administration, for help desk kind of thing, for monitoring. We are going to do a director. And studio mostly the administrators are using for mostly the Citrix administration either will do through studio, or we have web studio, or we can perform even through the PowerShell commandlets also. Mostly the administration we can do from the PowerShell commandlets also we can do. And Citrix is not an open source application, then here we are going to use a Citrix license server. Say here we need to have the license server is required. So what is the purpose of the license server is, whenever we want to deliver those apps and desktops, we need to make sure we have the licenses, all those. And in order to validate whether we have those licenses or not, we need to check the license server. Then what Active Directory will do is, say AD is going to verify whether the user authentication, authorizations, all those we are going to integrate with the AD wise we are going to integrate. Then what is the purpose of Citrix database? Say here we are using SQL Server as our Citrix database, and in that we are going to keep all the configuration details, meta information regarding our Citrix infrastructure is going to store in the Citrix database. We are going to store these in the Citrix database. We are going to store. Okay. So now here, all the users are going to log in from the Citrix Workspace app. Then internal users are connecting from the Citrix storefront, and external users are connecting from the NetScaler. Internal users are connecting from the storefront, and external users are connecting from the NetScaler or Citrix Gateway we can call. Okay, so then how the end-to-end, how it's going to happen, we'll discuss. Okay, so then here we have a VDA on the on which mission we want to deliver. On that we need to install VDA. From the VDA we can deliver either apps or even desktops also can be delivered, say on the server or desktop. We have, what is the difference is, if it is on the server, if I install VDA, apps or desktops can be delivered to multiple users. Okay, that means if I have like um, 1,000 users are there, or maybe 10,000 users are there, I no need to install 1,000 desktops, I no need to install. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to install those on the only on the some servers itself, and that can be accessible by the multiple users. But I don't want that kind of shared environment. So I don't want to go for the shared hosting kind of thing. Then I'm going to use the desktop kind of environment. I'm going to use the desktop kind of environment. I'm going to access that. Okay. So then here we have like a depends upon our requirement. We need to choose which type of whether we need to go for the server VDA, desktop VDA, from that apps need to be delivered or desktops need to be delivered, personal desktops need to be delivered. So it depends upon the user requirements. We need to choose. Those all will discuss at the at the what are the catalogs we have and how we are going to entitle those catalogs. All that we'll discuss. And mostly all the infrastructure on premises is not on the physical servers. Only less than 5 to 10% itself we have on the physical servers. 90% of the infrastructure is going to reside on the hypervisors itself. Mostly we are delivering hundreds or thousands of VDAs also. Those also is running on the hypervisor itself. Mostly it's maybe VMware vSphere or Citrix Gen Server and Gen Center or Microsoft Hyper-V. Now even from 7.x onwards, Citrix supports cloud also. Either that's maybe Azure or we may have AWS or GCP also is supported. Then we want to create multiple VDA servers. So those either we can create through either MCS or PVS. So for the imaging, say suppose how the 1,000 missions can be created from a single image. So we have the imaging kind of techniques. So for that we are going to use MCS or PVS. MCS stands for Mission Creation Services and PVS stands for Provisioning Services. Okay, they both have their own advantages and disadvantages. Okay, mostly the company may choose any of those, either MCS or PVS, but in some companies, they may have both also. Depends upon our requirement. We should choose any of those. Okay, so then what is the end-to-end, the complete enumeration process we'll discuss again today. So now here, if you go to Citrix virtual apps and desktops, formally we have two different components like XenApp and XenDesktop, but have been unified into virtual apps and desktops from the 7.x. Say is a single point of solution, like for the virtual apps or virtual desktops can be delivered to the any device and any network, any connection we can deliver. So now here we have the virtual apps and virtual desktops. Okay, so in the virtual apps, we are not giving the complete desktop. Both comes under VDA itself. So in the VDA, we are delivering both virtual apps we are delivering and virtual desktops also we are delivering. So in the virtual desktop, the main thing is the complete desktop can be delivered to the user. And if I go to the virtual apps, we are delivering only the apps we are delivering. We are not delivering the complete desktop, we are not delivering. On demand, only that app can be delivered to the user. The app experience of the user is just like that application is running on his device itself. That application has been not installed on his device, but the user experience is like that application is running on his device itself. That kind of user experience can be delivered by the Citrix virtual apps. In the second solution, first we are delivering the complete desktop to the users, but on the end user side, the user doesn't require any device like maybe a desktop hardware is not required to the any device we are delivering. The end user side we may have a thin client, zero client, but still we are delivering those desktops are delivered to the users. Okay, so now here we have the Citrix virtual apps and desktops. is a powerful solution for delivering those applications and desktops. Okay, so then we have the like a once the like a employee comes to the office, mostly for the most of the users, like through the VDA itself, we are delivering the desktops because we have lot of advantages, security, optimizations, then even the cost also can be reduced. So we have a lot of like even patching updates, all that also very simple to perform those kind of administrative activities. Okay, so now here we are going to give like how that end-to-end enumeration process will works. We'll discuss. So now try to simulate. So where we need to have the like workspace app. The user may have a thin client, zero client, or maybe a smart TV, tab, mobile. Okay, so that's on that we have like we have workspace app. From the workspace app to the internal users either from the browser or from the desktop. Okay, the user is connecting to the, so today we'll discuss this complete end-to-end enumeration process. We'll discuss. So now here, what is the meaning of like enumeration process or launch process? So everyone should able to explain after 2 to 3 days this complete process by own, and this would be very helpful in our daily life. We are going to use this in our every daily life. We are going to use this. Say here we have enumeration process and launch process, but even in the enumeration itself, we are telling even the launch process also. So what is that meaning is like how the users are going to receive those applications. Technically, the end user experience is there is one server, applications are delivered from that server, but some of the end users doesn't know also like those applications are running on somewhere. The user experience would be like that applications are running on on that device itself. That kind of user experience can be delivered by Citrix. Okay, so now like like what is the concept is we have a remote server. That remote server is centralized in the data center, and in that the apps have been hosted, and those apps can be shared to multiple users. Or instead of giving the apps, we can deliver even the we can
Desktop.
del desktops also can be delivered. So both the solutions we can give depends upon our requirement. We'll choose what is the method we need to deliver to the users. Okay, so what is the methods need to be delivered? So we'll discuss. Okay. So now here the user will have a device, and from the device user is connecting to StoreFront, either from the workspace app or from the browser. User is connecting to the StoreFront. Then user open the workspace app or from the browser and connect to the StoreFront URL. Our enterprise will have one StoreFront URL, and from that is going to connect, and here is going to use either 80 or 443, and even if the user comes with a HTTP, we'll redirect that to HTTPS itself for the secure connection, and here this connection is going to happen over 443. Then like a login page will come, and the user will enter his credentials. Every employee in the enterprise will have his enterprise credentials, and those username and password the user is going to enter. Then like user credentials would be sent to StoreFront, and StoreFront is going to communicate with the Active Directory. So whether those credentials are valid or not is going to send over the like LDAP. LDAP stands for Lightweight Directory Access Protocol, or using the Kerberos kind of authentication protocol is going to communicate. And here it's going to use port number 389 or LDAP security 636 or 88. That means, say, assume we have 10,000 employees in our company. All the username, password are going to store in All the username and password is stored
Database.
no, not in the database. We have Active Directory. Okay, all the username and password are stored in the Active Directory. Then here StoreFront is going to communicate with the Active Directory because I entered my username and password. Somewhere it need to be authenticated whether I'm a valid user or not. Okay, then if it is a valid user, then StoreFront will communicate with the delivery controller. Okay, say in the very long back, StoreFront directly passed to like a one Xenap server that's called as XML server, but in the 7.x, StoreFront directly communicating with is it passing to delivery controller or authenticating with Active Directory?
Delivery control.
Yeah,
Active
first it is authenticating with the Active Directory. After authenticating, it is sending those credentials to
delivery controller.
delivery controller. Okay, so in the Xenap 6, there is a small change. Say storefront, instead of storefront, we have web interface server. Web interface server communicates with the XML broker. One Xenap server itself will called as XML broker, but here that is we are calling as delivery controller itself. Then delivery controller will take that token and request all the available resources. Okay, so now delivery controller will check that SQL database. Okay, so now SQL database is going to check, and the database also queries all the site database to check like based on that user SID. Okay, so what are the applications and what are the desktops have been published? Means in our enterprise, we may have hundreds of applications, but all that user may not have authorized. Okay, the user may not have authorized. Okay, so how we are going to get those details? Like delivery controller is going to communicate with the database. So we have our site database. Okay, so with that is going to communicate, and in that out of 100 applications we may have at our enterprise, but that particular user may have authorized only for 20 to 30 applications only, or maybe 5 desktops only. That list is going to be checking. And here what is the 1433 port number is SQL server port number is 1433. What is the SQL server port number? 1433 is the SQL server port number. Then here delivery controller is going to check the license server. Okay, so then here check the valid licenses are available or not. Then delivery controller to like a storefront. Then it's going to return the enumerated list of resources. Okay, then storefront to user. Then with this, enumeration is completed. Then like a user, say suppose is getting like in the storefront, like from the workspace app, the user is connected, right? In that user is going to get the list of applications and desktop icons which that user has authorized. Okay, that means if you have 20 applications, the 20 application icons, and if you have 5 desktops, those 5 desktop icons, the user is going to get. Okay, users can see these applications and desktops, those are not delivered. User is able to see those list of applications. Means authentication, authorization, all these are done, and user is getting those list of applications which he has authorized. That process is called as enumeration process. Then out of the 20 resources, user can click on demand what are the apps he want. Those applications he can click. So once user can click on those apps, then here we are going to like a application is going to launch. Okay, so whenever the user clicks on that application or desktop, that launch process is going to start. So the previous steps are
Enumeration.
for the enumeration. Okay, so now the user on demand out of those apps which he has authorized, he can click on that any of that application or desktop, then that resource launch process is going to start. Or maybe we can call as Citrix launch process. Then user clicks on the resource either from the workspace app, from the browser, or from the storefront app. Then it's going to send that like a request to delivery controller. Delivery controller will validate the licenses. Then it's going to check the VDA. Okay, so broker that session by selecting the right VDA. So now we may have lot of VDAs, hundreds or thousands of VDAs. Then that load balancing is going to be done by the control DDC. So uh, DDC is going to check that. Then it's going to communicate with the port numbers. All this. Okay, then that's once VDA has been assigned to the user. VDA to user, the communication is going to happen. Then user session is going to establish the connection. Okay, that means who is going to take the decision which VDA need to be given. We may have hundreds or thousands of VDAs. Depends upon the catalog types and what are the missions are available. Based on that, it's going to design like which VDA need to be delivered to the user. Then here using okay, so VDA to user. First user request comes to user request also comes to the VDA. Then VDA to user, the communication is going to happen. Here is going to use the port number 1494 and 2598 for session reliability. Then here over the ICA and HDX. HDX stands for high definition experience. So while delivering multimedia or graphic kind of content, the user experience is on top by using the HDX kind of technology. It's a high definition experience. Okay, then the session is going to be delivered. So now first, like here we have the combined enumeration steps. User to storefront, storefront to AD, then storefront again the AD to storefront, the communication request will comes. If the user is unauthorized, that would be sent back to the user. If it is authorized, storefront to controller. Controller will contact the SQL server. Then like DDC to license server also. DDC to storefront. Then in the storefront, like is going to give the list of applications which user has authorized, all those. Then that storefront will present in the form of like a HTML format to the user. Then like in the browser, user will get the icons of those applications which user has authorized. Then user can click on those applications. Then the launching process is going to start. Then based on that, that ticket would be sent to the DDC. DDC again will verify the license server. Then will identify the VDA which need to be delivered to the user. Then like a VDA to that user communication is going to happen. VDA to that user communication is going to happen to this. Say there are some changes. Again, I'll explain this. So now user to storefront. Say user to the storefront. Then either user can connect from either from the browser also can connect or workspace app. Okay, so either user can connect from the browser or from the workspace app to the storefront. Then we need to have every enterprise will have a storefront URL. From that, he is going to access those applications. He will get a login page. Okay, even we can integrate with the single sign-on. Means already we log into the device, that credentials itself we can pass. And for the security purpose, we can integrate multi-factor authentications also. So those all we'll discuss. Then in the login page, like user will enter those credentials. Then those details would be sent to storefront. Then storefront will communicate with
Active.
active directory. Then the storefront is going to communicate with the active directory. Then like AD is going to verify those credentials. Okay, then if that is success, then it's going to return those details to again back to the storefront. Okay, so again back to storefront. Then storefront is going to communicate with the del like a delivery controller, or we can call desktop delivery controller also. But in the Zen desktop, we used to call as DDC. Now we have delivery controller. Okay, so we have the delivery controller we have. Then or we can call DDC also, no problem. Okay, so then DDC is going to verify. So DDC is going to verify with the site database. Okay, so here this is that particular user, which of the resources he has authorized. Means I may have authorized for uh, uh, like 10 applications or 5 VDA desktops like this. What are those authorized? That is going to be retrieved from the database. Okay, then that list would be given to storefront in the form of XML server. Okay, so that means what is the meaning of that? Previously in the Zenab we used to call it as XML server. Now the controller itself in our scenario is doing the XML server role. Then storefront will convert that XML format into HTML kind of thing. That means user will get in the HTML, in the browser he will get the list of applications which the user has authorized. Okay, but which of the applications that user has authorized, DDC is giving in the form of XML format. It is giving DDC is giving in the form of XML format. It is giving. Okay. Then user can click on those applications whatever the user want. Okay, once user click on those so now user is getting those list of applications. This process is called as application enumeration process. So this process is called as the application enumeration process. Then user, like maybe based on the demand, all the 20 applications as the user authorized and desktops, he has 5 desktops are all not going to open because unnecessarily it will consume lot of resources. Okay, on demand, based on the user clicking on that applications, then the launching is going to start. Okay, based on that applications are going to launch. So in the application launch process, so in the application launch process, so now first what is going to happen is user will click on the any of the application whatever he wants. Say suppose assume we have an SAP end user like a portal we have. On that application icon he click on that, then those details would be sent to again storefront to storefront to again
Works.
DDC, yeah, controller we are going to get that. Delivery controller will get. Say delivery controller is going to like identify what is the VDA it need to be delivered, what is that VDA, like it is going to identify that VDA and that VDA is going to be delivered, and that VDA list all those that user is going to get. Okay, the user is going to get in the form of one file. That file is called as launch.ica file. User is going to get the list of details, all those in the form of launch.ica file. And then like here now the communication is very simple between that workspace app and that VDA is going to communicate. So now here it's going to use ICA, and HDX also is going to comes. So here we are going to use the port number 1494. Okay, and ICA itself having one more port called as session reliability. This port is 2598. Session reliability we have. Okay, same. So these are the two port numbers it's going to use. Okay, so then here we have like a workspace app to VDA, the communication is going to happen. Then VDA is going to communicate with license server. Then if the license server grants the permission, then the communication is going to be established. So over the ICA, okay, so now at this moment, controller job is done already. Now the direct communication between that workspace app to receiver, the communication is going to be established. Okay, any doubts on this?
No, Shakti. Yeah.
Okay, so now here this is the what are the port numbers comes into the things also we'll discuss, but this is for the for the internal users. Going forward we'll discuss even from the external user perspective also. From the external user perspective also we'll discuss. So now what is the meaning of FMA? FMA is the FlexiCache Management Architecture, the unified combined architecture. Both XenApp and XenDesktop has been integrated, right? That's unified. Previously, we have IMA. In XenApp 6 and 6.5, we have the IMA. IMA stands for Independent Management Architecture. But now in the 7.x, we have FMA called as FlexiCache Management Architecture, like where we can have the multiple apps and desktops all have been unified. So we have some slight differences between, not slight, like major architecture wise differences between IMA versus FMA also we'll discuss. Okay, then coming back to this infrastructure part, like the delivery controllers plays the vital role in the delivery of the apps and desktops. Okay, so now here we are going to maintain like a delivery controllers we are going to maintain, and we need to install them on the like a one server, and we need to take care if we have only one server, we have like delivery controller, if it is down it's a single point of crash. In order to avoid that one, we are going to keep multiple delivery controllers we are going to keep in our environment. Okay, so what is the main delivery controllers are going to do is going to distribute those applications and desktops, and is going to authenticate and manage the user access, and it's going to broker those connections also, and it's going to optimize the user connections. Okay, so now try to understand. So we have the user and we have a storefront. So try to understand, if the storefront is down, still we need to create multiple storefront servers we need to create. So in the storefront group we have, in the storefront group, we are going to maintain multiple storefront servers. Okay, so then even if the connected users, that means already we have connected users. Okay, even if the storefront is goes down, there is no impact. Okay, for connecting users, if you have only one storefront, we will have impact. But what we are going to maintain in the production, we are not going to keep only one storefront server. we can add multiple storefront servers into storefront group we are adding. Then in that situation, what is going to happen? In that situation, what is going to happen? Like even for the connecting users also, there is no, for connected users, there is no impact even in the middle if the storefront server goes down also. Because already that user has been,
Connected.
that user has been connected. But we'll have the impact for the connecting users. That is the reason we are going to keep multiple storefront servers. Okay, we are going to load balance them. Okay, so how to design that kind of scenarios also we'll discuss. So that means for the high availability, minimum you need to maintain 2 to 3 storefront servers we need to maintain. Okay, so minimum 2 to 3 storefront servers we need to maintain. Okay, then here we have uh, delivery controllers also. Okay, so for the delivery controllers also, what we are going to happen is, like even if the delivery controllers are we have say in this environment also with the delivery controllers for connected user, okay, there is no impact. For connecting user, we need to maintain
Multiple storefronts.
multiple store multiple controllers in site. Okay, then even if one controller goes down also, there won't be any impact. There won't be any impact. We are going to maintain maybe 3 to 6 kind of delivery controllers we are going to maintain in our environment. Okay, so in our environment, we are going to maintain multiple kind of things, and even VDAs also, like maybe for the personal kind of desktops, only one would be there, but we are going to maintain even 10 to 20% of buffer also. That means even if some of the VDS are goes down also, we shouldn't have any impact to the users. That's the reason maybe 10 to 20% additional kind of VDS also we need to keep as a ideal kind of things. And even if any of the outage happens on some of the servers, still those can be delivered to the users. Okay, then like here we have one more component is what happens if the database, we have the site database we have for connected user, no impact. For the connected user, there is no impact even if my site database goes down. Okay, so then we have the connecting user. Okay, so for the connecting user also there is no impact because Citrix provided one concept called as local host cache. What is that local host cache? So local host cache is a small offline kind of database which is going to reside on the controllers. In the site database is not available, then those desktops or apps can be delivered from local host cache. Okay, so can you tell me what is the advantage of local host cache? So if the site database goes down, still there is no impact to the users because those can be delivered from,
Local host cache.
yeah, from the local host cache. Those can be delivered to the users. So that is the reason we don't have like
Impact.
any impact even to the connected users and connecting users even if the database goes down. Okay, then from the license server. Okay, so here if the license server goes down, so we don't have any impact to the connected user. Okay, so we don't have any impact to connected user. Then for the connecting user also, Okay, so there is no impact because we have grace period of 30 days. So what administrator need to do in a 30 days is we need to set up a new license server. Okay, so 30 days is a long time itself. We can set up even if any license server hardware failure, crashed, then even we can set up a license server also. But to the connecting users and the connected users, there is no impact. For how many days?
30.
For the 30 days we have the grace period. Then user is connected to one VDA. That VDA like maybe have restarts or maybe like it's like a blue screen of death. That VDA got a blue screen of death. That means it's hanged. It's not at all working fine. Okay, or maybe like a shutdown. So user is connected to the session, but that application is consuming a lot of resources or something happened. With that, it's going to restart or it got a blue screen of death. Then what is going to happen to the user session? Okay, so user will disconnects. Later, user can connect to new desktop also. So maybe if that desktop is available, that's maybe some kind of catalogs, maybe dedicated kind of catalogs will have a downtime. But even if this kind of situations happens also, in the next connection, like maybe another desktop which is available in the like a delivery group can be assigned to the users. Yeah. Any doubts on this? Okay. So then, if my hypervisor level, so we are going to enable HA and DRS kind of features also we are going to enable. Okay, say we have a high availability and like a resource scheduling, all those dynamic resource scheduling, all these we are configuring. So with this, what is going to happen is even at the hypervisor level also, so always those VDAs, all the important components are highly available. We need to plan. And database level, what I said, we have the local host cache, right? We are going to use SQL Server, but what Citrix is recommending to go for a SQL Server cluster also. So that means we don't maintain only one instance of the SQL Server. We are going to keep the multiple instances of the SQL Server. Then even if one instance goes down, at the SQL Server we have the cluster. Even if that cluster goes down also, Citrix having a solution. That means first Citrix is recommended to go for the Microsoft SQL Server cluster solution. Okay. If even if that is down, then we can go for localhost cache. Localhost cache we can plan. Okay. So these all the high availability, like mostly in the interview, we'll get all these, any of this scenario, what is going to impact 90%. We don't have any impact to the connected user. Okay, only if that VDA goes down, there would be an impact to the connected user. For the connecting user, we need to take care the high availability at the storefront, at the controller level, license server level, then even hypervisor level, like a database level also we need to design. Okay, then like the solution is highly available at any point of time to the users. Then I have already I have already connected to session, and I got like a small like a maybe bridge I got. So that network I lost for maybe 1 minute like that. Then again user session is not going to disconnect. User session is going to be waiting, and once the network has been retained, automatically the session is going to connect. Okay, so now like even if the network says suppose a connected user like went to a lift, then he lost some network loss he got. That is only in the lift maybe for 60 seconds or maybe in 90 seconds like that. But again once he come out of the network, he got sir once he come out of the lift, he got his network back. At that moment, again user no need to connect to that session. Okay, automatically that session is going to be connected. That feature is called as session reliability. What is the meaning of session reliability? Is within a 3 minutes of time, even if the connected user lost the network, the session is not going to be ended. That is going to be waited for the reconnection. On the user side, it will be in the idle setting. And if the network has been retained within 3 minutes, the session can be connected. That's going to use the feature called as session reliability. And for the session reliability, we are going to use the port number 2598. For the normal ICA connections, we are using 1494. But the session reliability, those reconnection is happening not using 1494. It is going to use the port number 2598. Okay, so that means even after the user connection is there, even if the user lost the network also for within a 3 minutes of time, okay, so the session is going to be connected automatically. This feature is called as what this feature is called as session reliability. And for the normal connections, we are using port number 1494, and that session reliability back the connections are going to use the port number 2598 is used for that. That's the reason I see having two port numbers. Okay, so I say having two port numbers we have. Okay, so if the database goes down, administration wise will have some impact, but business wise we don't have any impact. So that means if the database is down, I can't add new users, or I can't publish new applications, or I can't like connect from the studio wise. Some administrative activities will have the impact, but there is no impact from the end user wise. We don't have any impact. Users still then connect to those apps and desktops. Okay. All these port numbers will discuss again once again. And from the external user wise also, like that enumeration process, and there are slight differences. Okay, now like if the users are communicating with the gateway or netscaler or storefront, mostly we are using 443, then storefront to AD. Like if we are using LDAP, then 389 636, or if we are using Kerberos port is 88. Then storefront to DDC. Previously that XML broker used to use 8080, but now, like, we are not calling that as the XML broker. Now that communication is going to happen using 80 or 443. 90% here between the user to storefront, storefront to DDC, we are going to maintain the certificates for the security purpose. Then 443 itself is used. And DDC to SQL server, that 1433, is the SQL Server default port number. Then here we have the license server wise, we have license server having 3 ports important, 27,000, 7279 and 8082. If 8082 is in the use, then we can use 8083. Okay, then again back DDC to storefront is going to give the XML file. That's going to use again in the newer versions 80 or 443. Previously that used to be taken 8080. Then storefront to gateway again 443. So previously we have the STA ticket, but internally that's communicated over 80 or 443. Then license server again 27,000. Then gateway to VDA 1494. Okay. Then user to VDA, all those also, like using that, like here in this like VDA 1494 is going to communicate. Okay. So coming back to this, so now here like storefront 443, authentication we have LDAP is 389, but if you have the certificates, all those LDAP security 636, then Kerberos we have 88 and 464, then controllers to database 1433. In the real time, don't expect 1433 itself. SQL Server default port itself is 1433, but even in the SQL Server side, we can configure a custom TCP port also we can configure, but the default port is 1433. And mostly license server we have like 3 ports are important, 27,000, like that controller to license server is going to communicate over 27,000 and vendor daemon is 7279 and license server console port we have 8082 for HTTP, 8083 for HTTPS. Then user to like that VDA over the ICA 1494 and for session reliability 2598. Okay, and RDP port is 3389. Okay, say internal communication, what are these windows we'll discuss. Okay, and mostly in the NetScaler, mostly the communication is going to happen through 443 itself. Okay, and very long back, we have IMA port in Xenap 6 and 6.5. IMA port number is 2512 and from the console to Xenap server, the communication is going to happen through 2513. Okay, IMA having 2512, 2513, but in the FMA we have using 80 and 443 itself instead of this IMA 2512 and 2513. Okay, so these all the port numbers we have. Okay, yeah, any doubts on this?
Shrikant, Naresh here.
Yeah, tell me that.
Basically, the authentication from the gateway page, it will be the user authentication, like AD authentication will be from the gateway page. The gateway itself will authenticate, right? Username and the password.
Yes, we will
Not-
not discuss from the external user perspective.
Oh, okay.
From only internal today we are discussing.
Okay.
After like 4-5 sessions, we'll discuss from the external wise.
Okay.
As of now, we discuss only from the storefront wise.
Yeah, okay. No, we had come across the ADC component, right? NetScaler component that
Yes,
is there.
no, that's only in port numbers I covered.
Okay.
Enumeration will discuss even from the like some 2 or 3 changes would be there.
Okay. Okay. Great.
Okay.
Thanks.
Sure. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. Say here, like in the tomorrow session, we'll discuss how to design prerequisites, all this. Then we'll start the installations, all these also. Okay. So remaining
Basically,
some.
these are the critical components which
Yeah,
we
these
will
are
be
the
covering.
critical components and the interview wise also, these are the very basics. On top of this, we need to add our daily activities, roles and responsibilities and major issues, what we got, critical issues. That's if you explain, then it's very easy to clear the interview also. Okay, and for the job wise, we need to have the installation knowledge and setup. Then even easily we can work on the environment also.
And one more thing, Srikant, like when we are starting the Azure ABD,
Yes, yes.
after
After first we'll start with Azure, then we'll start with AVD also.
okay,
Okay, sure.
okay, Srikant,
Yeah,
thanks.
thanks. Yeah.